Let's talk a little bit about off-court interests here. For Forbes, you wrote a piece about Jabeur, and it was titled this: Tunisian tennis star Ons Jabeur has a strong game plan for winning off the court. In that piece, you talk about her evolution of her off-court interests, and how has that changed throughout her really meteoric rise?
So Jabeur was already one of the highest paid female athletes on the planet. When we last did our list of the highest paid female athletes in December of 2022, she ranked 15th with $6.5 million in total earnings before taxes and agents' fees, and $1.5 million of that came from her off-court stuff. Anytime an athlete is earning seven figures off the court, off the field, whatever sport it may be, it's extremely impressive. It's a hard thing to do, and not many athletes, by and large, can do it. You really only see that with the cream of the crop. But with what she's been able to accomplish on the court, and being able to appear in these Grand Slam finals and ultimately chase that goal and get a high world ranking, the feeling has become that there's a higher level to reach here. And for any athlete, it's their responsibility to capitalize on what they can during their careers. Their careers are not very long in the scheme of things. You never know when it's going to end, whether it's for injury or another reason. So in January, she switched up her management. She brought in former tennis umpire and sports exec Adela Ref as her manager, and he had also been a longtime advisor to her. And she signed with Evolve, which is an agency founded by Naomi Osaka and her longtime agent Stuart Duguid. And the plan there was to really, expand on the deal she has already. She's got a few endorsements, one with apparel provider Lotto, automotive brand Haval, and then equipment manufacturer Wilson. And, they have plans to roll out a number of new deals by the start of next year. Not exactly, it's something they're working on. But also, her visibility has grown too. She appeared in Netflix's Breakpoint documentary series, which is from the producers of Drive to Survive, which is the F1 one that has become incredibly popular here in the U.S. And also, she took a stake in the NWSL's North Carolina Courage, which is the women's soccer league. Naomi Osaka had previously invested in that team as well. One thing, Jabeur joked in the story was when Naomi first invested in that, she asked if she could play striker. So that's just her sense of humor coming back to it. But ultimately, it seems like she's starting to really look at, what she's doing off the court in her career and how that could affect her post-career life. Because, for the athletes that are super successful, especially in this sport, like Serena and Venus Williams, you can really, really create something special if you're able to capitalize on that. Ultimately, she's trying to do that now.
You said the phrase cream of the crop within the same sentence as Jabeur's name, and we also know that she survived her first match in the U.S. Open. What's next for Ons Jabeur, both on and off the court?
Yeah, so obviously, she's pursuing her goal of trying to win a major. Off the court, as I mentioned earlier, I know her representatives want to roll out a number of different deals, whether they're in new categories like insurance, banks, watches. There's a lot of potential there. Her star is on the rise, and obviously we saw her invest in the Courage. Who knows, there could be other opportunities like that in the future. But again, she's very passionate about the sport, passionate about being a role model. She wants to inspire. She wants to, to be a good face of the sport, a good face of the region, whether it's her country, her continent, her religion, or whatnot. I mean, there is a little kind of trickiness here. So obviously Duguid worked with Naomi Osaka, and when she first started out, they kind of had this strategy of going to Osaka's native Japan and working with brands there on a global level and then expanding to other global brands. That's kind of what they want to do with Jabeur, but there's kind of a different pace to it, a different blueprint. They want to start with brands in the region, eventually kind of work with brands in phase two, kind of beyond the region. And she's already doing that. But there are sensitivities. I mean, one thing a ref had told me is that, there are traditions and sensitivities in the region they want to be mindful of, especially when it comes to her character. Like Jabeur is a practicing Muslim, so she's not going to go out and endorse an alcohol brand, for example. But ultimately, first and foremost, she wants to win a Grand Slam, and she wants a #1 ranking, and those are her goals. The U.S. Open's a great opportunity to do it. We'll have to wait and see if she does, but that's where her head is at.
So as we sit here right now, you're telling me it's a good day to be Ons Jabeur.
Looks that way.
Justin Birnbaum, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Brittany.